Hello, and welcome to Farm Boy's Almanac, Episode 1. I'm Farm Boy, and the Almanac is going to be a series of videos and live streams where we go around looking for skate spots in cool places. Today, I thought we'd start it off by going somewhere cool that I only found out about pretty recently. Maybe you can guess where it is based off of the architecture. We got public transit. Any guesses? Well, it's a trick question. You'd have a better guess of figuring out where it is based off of the sky, because we are in Russia on the island of Sakhalin. Sakhalin is located due north of Japan's northernmost island, Hokkaido, and the administrative center is Yuhzno-Sahkalinsk, where we will be lurking today. Good old Wikipedia tells us that Yužno-Sahkalinsk has its beginnings as a settlement by convicts in 1882, Russian convicts. The Russo-Japanese War, they gave the southern half of the islands to Japan and maintained control of the northern half of it. And then the Soviet-Japanese War, it was recaptured by the Soviets. Ownership of Yužno-Sahkalinsk was transferred to the Soviets, and town status was granted in 1946. But you can still find some Japanese architecture and influences in southern Sakhalin if you look hard enough. And if you look right here on the Wikipedia page, that's the Sakhalin Regional Museum, which is what we're looking at on the map. I first found out about Sakhalinsk from the channel Vega Vagabond. He does some cool hitchhiking urban exploration videos. I am subscribed to him. I'm just in incognito mode right now. And his video on Sakhalinsk was super cool and showcases a lot of the architecture and cultural crossover between Russia and Japan. So that's kind of where I got the idea for this video, so definitely check that video out. Follow Vega Vagabond, super cool channel. So let's go. Let's find some spots. This first spot looks like maybe some kind of a government or corporate building. We've got a 5-stair, a little drop that's maybe a 2 or 3 stair. This loading dock is interesting. It has wide ledges. Oh, it's got a pole jam thread the needle. That's pretty dang cool. I wish the town I lived in had spots like that. Some interesting ledges that you could maybe drop into a ride-in grind, and a roof that you could ollie this little lip that's on the outside of it into the parking lot. So that's a pretty cool first spot. This building poses a fun challenge where you could potentially grind on this ledge here, but you'd have to ollie this gap. That's pretty neat. Maybe ollie it into a board slide, but it's a good width to grind or slide on. And right around the corner from it, you have this whole series of little angled, I don't know what that is honestly, but assuming that there's one right here too behind this car, which it looks like there is, you could ride onto that. You just got a little ramp, some wall rides. We're gonna come to find out that spots like this with good grindable stairs and ledges are actually pretty common, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on those. Look at these little kids up here. They already have the instincts in them. Just give them some boards and they can probably do some cool stuff. And right around the corner from them, you have this weird thing, which I don't know what it is, but I know you could do a cool wally on it. Here's another one of these things. This one's in too rough shape and maybe in too weird of a spot to skate, depending on how far away from that curb it is, but maybe not. One thing that I have to say against Yužno-Sahkalinsk is that they definitely have no disability mandates, because in America you would expect there's a staircase on this side, so over here there's going to be a handicap access ramp, right? Nope, wrong. There's more stairs. And even though it's yet more stairs, this could be fun to mess around on, I guess. We've been spotted! There's potential here. I'm also noticing that this riverbank has embankments on the sides, so maybe somewhere it's dry enough, or I don't know, there might be some potential farther downstream. It's a little far away, but for some reason not all of these stairs have a banister on the side, like you could just ride on, grind to that. That's... Ooh. Oh hey, there's a nifty spot. This is skatable, for sure. Start up at the top here and now hug the inside, drop down here. You have this little ledge where you can roll off the side into this little strip right there. So not only are these little street vendor kiosks very cute, but you also could probably roll down them, or if you were an absolute maniac, like ride on, grind this little strip of metal and then pop out and take the rest of that drop like a champ. But they're all along this street and they're really nice looking. I appreciate them. Not really a spot beyond the fact that you could maybe roll off of them, but they're fun. I like the circular vents on this circular chimney and the square ones on the square chimney. It's cute. And right next to them, look at that. You could grind or slide on these little ledges and then take the small drop and continue down the angled ledge. It's nifty. I found a spot like that in my hometown recently and I've been having a lot of fun on them. There's another one of those round vent chimneys out front, and also Boobo. So this little angled roof looks like it's maybe made out of marble, and it has a little bit of a flat top, so you could maybe get a trick into the bank. And possibly, depending on what's going on with this little line here, there might be a shitty little grind to be had there before the drop. So I like that. So you could maybe ollie up this. It's a really mellow 4 or 5 stair. I mean, look at these kids. It's like stomach height on this little kid. So you could ollie up it. Somebody could anyway. I probably couldn't, but somebody could ollie up it, and then somebody, also not me, could probably do a slide or a grind down the ledges here on the side, because they're also pretty mellow. Got a lot of roll up to either ollie, cannonball through the little gap, or hippie jump down this drop. This building is surrounded by these really cool looking planter boxes, pretty well sealed and painted. Good for grinds and slides. We don't have IKEA in Sahkalinsk. We got Kia. Some interesting geometry here. Fun little ledges. Ride on again. Seems to be always ride on. But this rail 2 ledge is cool, and based off of the height it comes up to this guy, somebody like Pedro Delfino could ollie into a grind and then either like bonk out or turn it into a slide of some kind. But just a pretty interesting spot overall. Seems like spots in Yužno-Sahkalinsk come in pairs, because there's another one of these little flat top, I guess it's a staircase that goes down there, but there's an awful lot of these. We really don't have these in America. And it looks like there's some rust on the top, so it might be like some crappy corrugated metal that you can't ride on, but it might be skatable. And right next to it, some more of these little ride-on ledges next to the stairs that are also really common here. But what makes these special is the little planter box at the bottom, which have a lip that you could maybe lock your truck onto. And they're just nice. Maybe when there's flowers in them, it would be a really cool shot. Drop in on the chicken coop dog house tool shed. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but you could drop it on in case you got lost. Here's a cool one, pretty unique to the area from what I can tell. This picture was taken in the rain. As you can tell from this narrow edge to this wall, you can definitely do some slides or something on it. A board slide, or, you know, gap that into a board slide. And this whole thing is on a mellow incline, so you could pop over it, do various things. And the coolest part of it is, I don't know what this is. It looks like you could move it. You've got this, and that's pretty neat. Not a lot of banks, so maybe we can look around and find some more banks. This parking deck has inside of it these little low rails. Pretty fun. Just a quick slappy nose slide or grind or something. You don't see those often. It looks like a tripping hazard. Hey, we found another one. Less potential here because this is gravel, but you know, what could you do anyway? You've got to ollie into it to begin with, so yeah, maybe you roll in here and do something into it from this way, but it's not like you could ride up it and then do something over the stairs and onto the flat anyway, so it's still pretty cool for the area. I'm also now realizing that you could ollie up onto the bank and then pivot or something, I don't know, and just like slappy back down. Some funky little gas station barrier rails. You got a large wooden pole jam in the form of this telephone pole support beam. This sidewalk has chipped up on the corner and created a cool little ramp that would launch you over this gap and right into the street. Here's a curved rail. I think that's the first one we've seen. Will you be able to clear the gap at the bottom of this incline? Or will your wheels catch on the stairs and you break your teeth? Hong knows, but he ain't telling. So this is another twofer. You could roll off of the top of this. That gap looks too nasty to get over so quickly. You need some really fast feet, and then what are you gonna do? So do something into it and then gap it, and it might shuck you out with a good bit of speed. And then over here next to it, a lot better. Looks like you could ride up and down it with only a little mild bit of lifting your front up. And there's a little bank at the top of it. Not a bank, a ledge. You can do some stalls on it, and whatever this little lip on the stairs is, maybe you could do something there. That's my kind of spot. I'd have fun on that. I wish that these little stairwell things were as common in America as they are here. A lot of the curbs along the main roads in Sahkalinsk are this slightly curving. They look like they're well sealed and painted and would be really good for slappies. And here you have a little inside angle. And right next door, some neat rails going on here. They're not curved, but you know, they angle into each other at a pretty mellow way. Here's a high drop, but it's interesting because this is curved and this is angled, so you could either just drop straight into it and then roll off the side, or maybe you go up it and do a little something on the angle like it was a bank and then back down. This is like the only bump to bar we've found so far, and it doesn't have any run up to it. Here we have a little raised metal cellar door with some handles. Looks like it goes flush against the wall, so maybe a wall ride there. And kind of the same thing over here. It's lower. It looks like corrugated metal, so maybe not as doable. Yo, we found one! Finally! The first skatable bump to bar. It's got roll up. It's got roll away. It's decent. You just have to get a bunch of speed enough to either ollie up this 3-stair or just throw down real fast when you're on the landing here and get it. So, a first! This little train stopper is interesting. It unfortunately just goes into gravel instead of any paved surface. From this distance, it's a little hard to tell how wide this cobblestone wall is, but if it's wide enough, you could drop in on these little quarter pipes. A little bit too far away to tell what kind of material this is. It looks like cinder block with maybe there's pavers on top of it, maybe it's just mortar. I can't tell if there's a little crack there, it sort of looks like it. But with a rub brick and enough wax, it could be fun to see how far up that you could grind and pop out. I'm gonna end on a high note. I saved the best for last. This is actually one of the first spots that I found while I was looking, and it's my favorite. The first couple of takes that I had of it, I'm looking back and realizing that I was so dumbfounded that I couldn't make a cohesive thought. So I'm going to try to put into words what I like about this spot so much. And first of all is this color. A lot of schools in Richmond, where I used to live, are this color, especially the doors. The ender to my first video, Starvation, is in front of a set of double doors that are this color at a school. Also, I like how worn everything is. It's just the right amount of crusty for me. You've got this fun little pipe. If you wanted to do anything with that, you could probably just snag it. No one would bat an eye. But this spot is so cool to me. There's a bit of a lip here. The transition looks really good. And this is slightly angled, which is really neat. So you could just cut the corner of it. You don't even have to go up and down this thing the whole time. If I was in this area, I would just spend all day, every day, going up here trying to get like blunt fakies or something. I don't know. It's also really iconic of the spots in Yužno-Sahkalinsk because there's a bunch of these like little stairwells, but this is my favorite one. It's low, it's great transition, it's poured in place concrete, super cool. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was pretty rough. Not the best camera, not the best microphone. I'm using my old laptop. But if you want to see more of this content, then stick around for episode 2. I could probably make it in better quality. And we'll see where we go next time on Farm Boys Almanac. So thank you and have a good one. Bye. This looks like the painter got handed a swatch, a color swatch from like Lowe's, and instead of thinking that that was the color scheme, the palette that they had to work with, they thought that they just had to paint the color swatch as it was on the building. Because, like, what the hell is this?